Hi, I'm John. This is my show, An American Scheme, where I'm proving that Diana Ross is Michael Jackson's actual mother. So this is a person I've run into. A few people don't know that from my American Scheme page. My American Scheme page was getting strikes, because I had ventured out and I was doing a lot of other videos related to Kobe Bryant and I don't like to say the word conspiracy, but other things related to things in that kind of category, right? And then I was being more aggressive to people and stuff too, so my page was getting strikes, and that was happening on my American Scheme page. So I didn't want to jeopardize all of my videos, my Michael Jackson videos, so I went ahead and deleted anything that wasn't directly related to my Michael Jackson story. I deleted all of that stuff because my page was getting 2 strikes, and so I was putting it in jeopardy. So I created a new page called The Today's Slave, and I used that page to talk about the other things that I want to talk about, but I also talk about Michael Jackson a little bit here and there. It comes up and stuff, right? So this is a person I've run into because there's a person named Tommy Sotomayor, and I was trying to talk to Tommy Sotomayor to try and get him to let me explain my Michael Jackson story, on his page. I would, give him a show. I can perform. There's no doubt. My story's awesome, and I can perform my story. I know what I'm talking about, right? So, but on that show, a person that comes in and clicks on Tommy's lives is this guy. His name is Savage Red Recovery. So he comes onto Tommy's page, so that's how I found out who he was. So I went to his page, and he's trying to be an actual YouTuber, okay? And so it's the same thing. He offers me to come in, but I'm not equipped to come in and link in and do lives and stuff, So I try and have conversations, try to get to know the people. So this guy, I was able to get him to watch I think maybe a couple, but there was one specific video I got him to watch where Diana Ross is really saying that Michael's her son and stuff, and so that's what he's going to say here. He says that he watched my video and he thought it was good, and he said, wow, the stuff, he says, okay, the stuff you're showing, yeah, it does look like Diana Ross is Michael Jackson's mother. But now this is what I'm going to show you, because this is with the Michael Jackson fans. First of all, with the people that actually are Michael Jackson fans, you already have your preconceived notions of who you think Michael Jackson is. And what I've been trying to say is that it's not just the Michael Jackson fans, and this is why the story's so big, it's everybody. And people that aren't even actual real fans and stuff, they've got serious ideas of who Michael Jackson was. And this guy here, he expresses his opinions about who he thinks Michael Jackson is, okay? But so now here's parts of what I'm going to show you. So this guy, one of the things, he's trying to be a YouTuber, and so, but to be like this guy Tommy Sotomayor, he's actually got talent and he's smart, right? So with this Savage Red guy, what I'm telling you is that you didn't understand that when I brought in the new information, that instantly had to put all of the information that you thought you knew, it had to put it into question. If you were an intellectual, that's why I'm saying, you won't, Savage Red, you will never be a quality YouTuber and have a quality voice if you were not able to understand that the information that I brought in completely had to get you to rethink any of the stuff that you thought about Michael Jackson, but it didn't. It just, you saw the new thing, and then you tried to say that you tried to argue. It's not arguing with me, but you tried to convince me that you knew a lot about Michael Jackson. And it's dude, I'm way out of your league. I'm way out of everybody's league. There's nobody out there. This is how it is. It's people have a hard time understanding. It's I am the one. I'm the guy with the best information. I've done the best research. So you're not going to be able to deal with me. And this is how I get with people. They always coming at me trying to make it think that they know what they're talking about, and they don't. I'm way beyond you. And when I showed you the new information, it should have been such a different form of a conversation. Plus, the information I showed you was done very well. I actually showed you quality information where he actually believed it. He understood that was something new. So once you were given something new, then as a person, as an intellectual, you would have had to understand that this new information changes your preconceived notions that you had. And you've got to question, since I showed you real fucking evidence, you've got to question this mediocre stuff that what you think is evidence before, and you thought it was evidence, but it wasn't. So this is so I'm going to show you here what he says, and then I'm going to show you some videos. But so like I said, the hardest thing for me about making videos is I've got too much information. I've got too much stuff to explain because we're talking about Michael Jackson's entire life. I'm talking about Diana Ross, Smokey Robinson, the creation of Motown, the whole Jackson family. It's a shitload of stuff. And for some reason, people think I'm supposed to be able to package all of that shit in a small little video. And it's like, and even if it's 30 minutes, like 30 minutes, it's hard for me to get people to watch 30-minute videos. That's not fucking so easy. But somehow, I'm supposed to package all of it. I'm supposed to package all of it. Now, if I don't package all of it into one video, then they come back and say, oh, well, you didn't do this or this. It's like, dude, how the fuck am I supposed... It's like, that doesn't mean you're supposed to be smart enough to understand that I was just packaging in a video. I obviously have way more information. I can't put it all into fucking one video. The people are so dumb, they can't even fucking understand that shit. I'm just shocked at how stupid people are. So Savage Red, that's what I'm saying to you directly. See, now, I think you said you're 31 years old. Now, you've had an interesting life experience, and I give you credit for that, which I know that you do know things, you know, and you've come through that, and you know, you speak, there's things that I'm pretty impressed with some of the things you speak about, but on the other side, there's things that you flat out don't actually understand, but you speak about it like you're an expert, and that's like your flaws. If you want to be a YouTuber, you can't do that. And if you were not able to recognize that the stuff, the information I gave you was serious facts, the stuff you gave back me was conjecture and fucking hyperbole or whatever, you know, it was bullshit based off of simple fucking little things, and then you've created a big, much bigger, vast story with no fucking evidence and no real proof and shit, right? So here, let me show you here what he said, and that's what I'm saying. The other thing is, any challenge that anybody puts down to me, I will overcome it. I'm not here saying I don't want to be challenged. I'm here saying I've got the fucking information. I can withstand any challenge from any person on the fucking planet. Anybody, any Jackson. Like, I yell at the Jacksons. They don't fucking come and debunk me and try and... They can't. I'm better than them. I will yell at every single person out there. Any person who knew Michael Jackson. Anybody who worked with them. Any family member. I don't fucking care who they are. I will fucking shred on all of them. I am the only person out here doing this shit, and I'll fucking stand up to anybody's fucking challenge. And so that's what I'm going to show you here is that, and now the stuff that what he's talked about, I already have videos proving this shit, right? But he doesn't know that stuff, but I already have done this stuff. I've got videos. I've already done this stuff. But I'm just trying to show is like I stand up to all fucking challenges from any challenger. There's nobody that can fucking do what I do because I'm the one breaking the discovery. I'm the one doing everything. So here, let's listen to this. So when he says the Today's Slave, I don't know if I mentioned, but that's my new page. When he says the Today's Slave, so like I said, I made a page just so I could do other stuff. It's called the Today's Slave. So when he mentions that name, he's talking about me.
This is unrelated, but the Today's Slave, I didn't realize that you had another channel. Nice sub count. I appreciate it. You're a little bit angry. Like, even for me being angry and savage, you're a little angry for me.
I forgot about that part, but that cracks me up and shit, right? Because I do have people that tell me, like I shouldn't curse so much. I gotta tell you how much that fucking cracks me up and shit, right? But so, part of my thing about what I do is I want to be as natural as possible, right? And the way I speak, I don't want to speak in a fashion of which like I would be like on a television show and I would be speaking properly because I don't ever want to go on a TV show, okay? So I want to speak the way I speak. And this is the way I would speak naturally if I was just having a conversation with my friends, okay? So that's part of it. So it's two parts. I want my conversation to be as if I was having a conversation with my friends in my natural way. And then I want it also, I like the cursing. I like the cursing because it shows that I don't want to be a part of like the television program system where I have to go there and sit and be a good boy and I can't curse. Okay, I don't want to do any of that fucking shit. And I don't want them being able to use my videos. Like, they can't play these videos when I'm constantly cursing and shit. They can't like use these videos. And so it's like, it's a kind of way of which I'm defending my work and stuff, right? I'm protecting it. So that's kind of like reasons. The other thing, and the other reason why I'm so mad is that I'm super, super mad because I've been dealing with the biggest Michael Jackson fans, and they all, like I said, I went after everybody, and they refuse to even look at my stuff, and it's like, Jesus Christ, what world did I slip into where I got all these people that are Michael Jackson fans, and they can't even, none of them, not one of them ever has come to my Billie Jean because my Billie Jean is just phenomenal. My explanation of the song Billie Jean is phenomenal. Billie Jean is it's a big song for me to have explained and actually identified Billie Jean. I've explained the whole fucking song. But these damn Michael Jackson fans don't ever even come to me and say, oh wow, I heard your thing, it's interesting. Okay, they don't do that. It never happens. They won't deal with me. And that's why I yell, it's like, you're not even a real fan. And I found out that all these people are just actually here just stealing from Michael Jackson. And it's like, well, that's what Michael Jackson was dealing with in his life. He realized that all of his fans, what he thought were fans, they weren't fans. They were just like stealing from him, stealing from his identity. And it's like he already had the situation with the Jacksons stealing all of his talent and trying to steal his identity, and his parents abandoning him. And then he grows up, becomes a fan. He realized that the fans aren't really fans, that they're all just stealing from his identity too. And so I yell at everybody because this is the reality of what's going on. I'm having to bear the burden of Michael Jackson's pains now. I feel his fucking pains and nobody else does. And they yell at me like they're the real fans. It's ridiculous. But the other biggest thing why I yell, and it's like, Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson are still alive. And I tell the fans, it's like, Jesus Christ, look we need to get, this story has to break before either one of them pass away, because if one of them passes away, we lose a lot. And it's one of these things, it's like Michael Jackson's dead. We can't hear him tell his story. But his parents, Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson, his real parents, they're both still alive. And we can hear them tell their story. And it's one of the things where I yell, I scream at the fans. I call them stupid, fake, thieving, scumbag, losers. I fucking can't stand them. Like a person like Michael Trapson, who tries to stand up and represent Michael Jackson. It's like, this Michael Trapson dude really fucking pisses me off. Because he's cool. He's not a fucking weak little bitch. Like, there's a girl like MJ Fangirl. Okay, she's a 30-year-old living like she's a 13-year-old. She's a fucking idiot. She's a fucking moron and shit, right? And you got people like, there's like a Pearl Jr. She's an old woman. She's a reporter. She's been around. She says she cares about Michael Jackson, but when it came to the reality of dealing with the reality of my story, she refused to deal with it. She kept telling her lie. All she really cared about is selling her lie that Michael Jackson's alive, and that's her business, okay? And she was a businesswoman. She doesn't care. That's why I yell at these fuckers, There's this idiot out there named, it's called Blacklight Hip Hop, something like that, with Thon Lexi. His name's Thon Lexi. This dude actually reported on my story because it was breaking and it was getting out there. So somebody sent him an article that was done about my story, and then he refused to actually deal with it. He just didn't deal with it. It was weird. It's funny as hell. He says, okay, well, let's unpack this, right? And then he literally dealt with nothing, and he just created in his head, this is what he actually did. He didn't deal with my story. He just in his head said, oh, if there's a conspiracy theory out there, it must have been done this way, and then he said it must have been done this way, and if it was done this way, then this is how I'll debunk it. That's what he did. It was fucking weird. These people are stupid. They won't deal with my story because they're not real fans, and they feel inferior. Once my story comes in, it makes them feel inferior, mentally inferior, spiritually inferior, everything. And it's like, so I have to deal with a fucking massive fucking population of stupid, thieving, scumbag losers out there, all of them, all the fans, it's fucking crazy. And then even people like you here, Savage Red, which you're not a real fan, but you saw that I came at you with some serious fucking new evidence that changes the whole fucking story. But then you come back and override, you try and think that you can still fucking explain Michael Jackson's life off of the information that you had previously, and you can't. So this is like what he did.
Jordan Williams, you resubscribed. Oh my god, I thought you were always a subscriber, Jordan Williams. But your video that you sent me, I would totally, completely agree with you that there's clear evidence that she looks like his mom, and that she said stuff that makes it look like that's his mom and he looks like her. But at the same time, I disagree with you on the Peter Pan stuff, and I also disagree with you on why he was like why he was into Peter Pan and all those things. I disagree with you on that. I do think that was more of him being abused as a child by the Jacksons, because his older brothers said that his father used to have executives come and do stuff with them. And if you look up Peter Pan comes from the god Pan, which was Pan himself. No problem, Jordan. Also, when it comes to Peter Pan is based on the god Pan, which is a god of pederasty, which was about boy love. So I definitely believe that there's more to that than just him living that lie. I think it's more of an abuse thing, and I think it's more of a occult thing. Also, I don't think that Michael that was getting all the plastic surgeries and was white, I don't think that's Michael. I think Michael was no longer Michael when he got burnt in that Pepsi commercial. I don't think yeah. I'm still slow.
Okay, so that's okay. So now let's deal with what he said. So he was saying that Peter Pan stuff. He was saying his idea of how Michael turned into the Peter Pan stuff, right? It starts with his understanding that Michael Jackson was sexually abused by like record producers, because Joe Jackson was letting like record producers sexually abuse Michael so that they could get a record deal. Okay, now the basis of the understanding for the belief in that is that the Jacksons are a poor family from Gary, Indiana. Okay? The whole reason that you're able to believe that is that you just think that they're this poor family from Gary, Indiana, and that they had to work hard they were going to do anything to make it in the business, right? But so now what I'm going to show you is that that's totally fucking wrong. And first of all, like I said, when you understand that Diana Ross is Michael's mom, then you know that Smokey Robinson's his dad, and you know that the whole reason everything happened was because Berry Gordy is friends with Joe Jackson. My bigger story, my bigger understanding. So when Joe Jackson got this kid, he got him from Berry Gordy. So Joe Jackson didn't need to go looking for like record producers, because he was in contact with Berry Gordy and Motown, the biggest one out there. So your idea that Joseph was out looking for record producers because they're a poor family and stuff, that whole story is bullshit. And you got to remember, the Michael kid comes from comes from Berry Gordy. So if Joe Jackson just damages this kid, this is the kid that did everything for them. So he can beat him and control him and do stuff like that, because that's going to be understanding. But letting him be sexually abused by fucking record producers, that's way outlandish. There's no way that that's going to occur, and there's no way that the people, Diana Ross, if they found out about don't you think that when Diana Ross tells Michael that she's his mother, if Michael was being sexually abused, don't you think Michael would have said, hey, I'm being sexually abused, you need to get me out of that house? But that's not what happened. None of that fucking happened. He was being physically abused and mentally abused, but he wasn't being sexually abused. So your idea that Michael was being sexually abused, that's what leads you up into believing the further idea of Pan. Now, you got to understand, we didn't have the internet back then. So you live in a world with the internet where they talk about all these occult symbolisms and they get these crazy investigations and they make these videos. Michael didn't live in that world. Michael lived in a world where Disney made movies, and Michael would go to the movies and see Disney movies, and that's how you start your love for Peter Pan. And Peter Pan being around the orphan thing, and Michael obviously was very fond of Disney. And now, like I said, you can go into it further and expose stuff that there's pedophile things going on in there, but you can't guarantee that was Michael's interest into that world. You can't guarantee that he ever really looked at it that way, because he lived in a world without the internet, and his natural progression of being a child and having Disney and liking Peter Pan because he was actually an orphan child and all the things that go around like that, you can see actually a natural progression where Michael would have interest in that story. But now look, I'm going to show you more. I'm going to actually show you more here, things that you don't know anything about. So let me just show you a little piece here. So listen to this.
Said you're like family. I think that people think that that's mythical, but it isn't.
Smokey Robinson said people think that it's mythical about Motown being a family, but it isn't. Okay? So when he says it isn't, let's take the words at face value. Sometimes there's actually just simple truth to what is he actually saying. That because we all think about, but you see, because he says it isn't, because we all think, well, Motown, we all understand that most of the groups that were generated through Motown came right from that area. And as they built it as a family working together, really, and they all cared about each other and lots of things, and then relationships would have developed in through the stuff and all this stuff. And that's kind of where the context of the family comes into. That's what they say. But that's the mythical thing, okay? But Smokey Robinson, in his own words right there, say, but it isn't. It isn't mythical, which means it is an actual family. And if he's talking about it being an actual family, well, now let's have that conversation. What could that conversation be? Because nobody's ever had that conversation. My story says that just after Berry Gordy met Smokey Robinson in August of 1957, a few months after that, Smokey Robinson gets Diana Ross pregnant and Michael Jackson is conceived. Okay? So then what happens is that Berry Gordy is the one who has the friendship with Joe Jackson. So Berry Gordy is the one who orchestrates this plan to get Smokey and Diana to give their child to the Jacksons. Okay, so now right there in that situation, you've got, if Smokey Robinson has a child with Diana Ross, they're actually family now. They're actually the parents of a child that actually constitutes them as family members. They're parents of a child. They're related. They're not blood relatives, but they're related through their child, a blood relative. So they're related now. They've got an actual family relation. Now, Berry Gordy, and I think it's in 1971 that he has a child with Diana Ross. Okay, so Diana Ross has a child with Berry Gordy in 1971. So now, if Diana Ross has a child with Berry Gordy, and if she has a child with Smokey Robinson, then they literally are now family. Okay, so see, that's one of my older videos and stuff. Like I said, I have videos dealing with all this stuff, so instead of me explaining everything and stuff, so I went ahead and just pulled up one of my older videos just to show you that I've been explaining this stuff for a while. Okay, so that's just talking about them actually being a family. So that's what I'm saying, is that this Michael Jackson kid, this is his real family. Okay, so Joe Jackson didn't need to go looking for like record people when this is his family. This is who's connected to Michael Jackson. But then the other stuff that you don't know about is that Joe Jackson, when he first started his band in the early 50s, he had his band called the Falcons. But in his band was a guy named Pookie Hudson. Okay, and when Pookie Hudson left the Falcons, he went and formed his own band called the Spaniels. And he had hit songs, okay? So this is a song you might be familiar with. This is, well, you're not that old, but other people would. Most people that would be familiar with the song would be like, for me, I know this song from this band called Sha Na Na. They had a TV series, and at the end of the show, they would always sing the song Good Night Sweetheart, okay? So let me just show you that little piece there. So when I was in the 70s, there was a band called Sha Na Na, and they had a television show. And at the end of the show, they would always end it with this song. And the guy at the end that goes doo 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 doo, his name is Bowser. So that you always remember Bowser going doo 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 doo. So here, watch this. So that was a cool variety show they had in the 70s with that band, and you know, so they always sang that song at the end of the show. But so now that I've come around full circle, and what I've learned is that that song was originally recorded by a band called the Spaniels. And in the band, the Spaniels, the actual singer here, that'll be the lead singer, his name is Pookie Hudson. He's from Gary, Indiana. And he was actually in Joe Jackson's band, the Falcons. When Joe Jackson was actually trying to become an entertainer, Pookie Hudson was in Joe Jackson's band, and he left and started the band, the Spaniels, and had a hit with this song, Goodnight Sweetheart. So I thought I'd leave you with Sunday with this playing of this song, just a little inside thing telling about the Jacksons' history. Okay, so good night, everybody. Okay, so, like I said, these are some of my older videos I'm pulling up. I've already made videos about all this stuff. But so, okay, the guy on the right, that's Pookie Hudson. He's the lead singer. And I'm going to show you here that this song, okay, this is the Wikipedia. Okay, so you see Goodnight Sweetheart, 1954. You see the name Pookie Hudson, they're songwriters, right? Pookie Hudson, Goodnight Sweetheart. Okay, so that's the first thing, is that Joe Jackson, he wasn't just some guy that didn't know anybody. He knew people in the business. This was not just some guy that put a band together and was out there trying to make it. No, he wasn't just trying to, he was a musician, but he knew people. And the Pookie Hudson guy, see, that's in 1954. And there's a much bigger explanations to the stuff, is that Pookie Hudson's actually accredited as being one of the first developers of the doo-wop style of a singing form, right? Which, that's how Motown, when they start to make their company, all of the singing groups are basically a doo-wop, which means you have a lead singer and you have a few doo-wop singers in the background, okay? That Pookie Hudson came out with Goodnight Sweetheart in 1954. That's way before Motown is like in 1960, okay? So that's way before that. Berry Gordy, the people that don't know, is Berry Gordy was in the record, he was a songwriter for Jackie Wilson, okay? So Berry Gordy was in the music business before he does Motown. So Berry Gordy would have had to have known who Pookie Hudson was. And then when you look at the style of singing, that he's a doo-wop singer, and you see that Berry Gordy built his company off of that type of singing, now you've got a direct relation for Berry Gordy having interest in the Spaniels and Pookie Hudson, when Pookie Hudson was actually from Gary, Indiana, and was actually in Joe Jackson's band. Okay, and see, there's a thing that Berry Gordy and Joe Jackson are the same age, and if you go back and trace their history, what you find out is that they were both fighting in the Golden Gloves at the same time also. So there's connections between Berry Gordy and Joe Jackson to show that Berry Gordy and Joe Jackson know each other, and they knew people. Okay, quiet, hold on. They actually know similar people, and they're running around in the same scenes, like Pookie Hudson. Gary, Indiana is right below Chicago, Illinois. Chicago is the big music scene. I'm going to show you. Oh, actually, I was going to show you that on this. This was that one. I wanted to show you on Vee Jay. Where's that Vee Jay thing? Oh, right here. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to show you this too here. Okay, see the record label Vee Jay? Okay, they're on the Vee Jay Record Label. I wanted to show you this. Okay, so that song with Pookie Hudson was on the Vee Jay Record Label. So when you look at the Vee Jay Record Label, okay, so Vee Jay Records, see it says the label was founded in Gary, Indiana, okay? But then it'll say that they moved to Chicago. Okay, I have to roll it down. Okay, well, so it's a label, it says founded in the 50s, located in Chicago. But so they moved to Chicago after that. And when they moved to Chicago, so major acts on the label in the 1950s include singer Jimmy Reed. Okay, so not only were the Spaniels on the VJ, which the VJ started in Gary, Indiana, okay, then they moved to Chicago where the big music scene's at, but not only was the Spaniels on VJ, but Jimmy Reed was on VJ, right? And so now this is Joe Jackson's actual brother, Luther Jackson. And so this is what I'm giving you an understanding that Joe Jackson was more than what you think. And that's what I'm saying. He didn't need to go out looking for like record producers and selling Michael Jackson's ass because he didn't have any contacts and he's trying to make it. That's not what was going on at all. What you actually find when you do the investigation is that you find out that Joe Jackson's directly connected to serious musicians, that he knows a lot of people. Now listen to this.
Over there with the safari cowboy, had to catch elephants and all those wild things. Mr. Luther Jackson himself,
Okay.
brother Joe Jackson. Then you got his great nephew over here looking just like his nephew.
You ain't never lying.
Everybody see him, you ain't even gotta say nothing. So something going on. That's all I can tell you. Because over here, he's serious. And what y'all don't know, you looking at some history, and some history for the start again. All right, tell us about you and your brother though. We want to hear what, so a little something about something like when y'all was working in the mill and how y'all used to have to.
We started from zero until somebody he pushed the button. We started from zero till they pushed the goddamn button on somebody.
Yeah, because he gonna.
No, that's true.
Bet. But no, I mean about so far as the music, Daddy. What about when you was a guitar player? You remember you told me you used to be at the small farm playing with Jimmy Reed, Howlin' Wolf, and all them guys. All right, what Uncle Joseph used to do?
Joe had his band too.
He didn't like Diana Ross.
And see, then the woman right there, he didn't like Diana Ross, to show you and then so it's like, so right there he told you, he was playing with Jimmy Reed and Howlin' Wolf and shit. They know these guys. Joseph knew those guys. He had his band, the Falcons. They used to play with Jimmy Reed and Howlin' Wolf. Jimmy Reed Howlin' Wolf's on the big Chess records in Chicago. Jimmy Reed is on Vee Jay Records, which started in Gary, Indiana, which also has the Spaniels on the record label. Just showing you that Joseph Jackson, your idea that Joseph Jackson would have had to sell Michael, see, that's why you developed into that idea of the pan, and you went further into the pan and the pedophilia and all this stuff, the boy lover stuff, but you don't understand that that's a lie. That's flat out a lie. And not only did Joseph not have to fucking sell Michael to get into the industry, he wouldn't have done it because Michael came from Berry Gordy. He wasn't going to damage that kid and cause that kind of fucking, he didn't need to. That's all a fucking lie. And I'm showing you real evidence into the real history of what was going on. That's bullshit. That's total fucking bullshit. So that blows away your idea of what you think Michael's connection to Peter Pan is. You start that connection to thinking it has something to do with boy love because you think Michael was sexually abused as a child. I just proved to you that your idea of thinking that Michael was sexually abused because Joe was pimping him out to record producers, that's bullshit. And I can show you way fucking more. There's a way more. I just don't have the fucking time to put it all together. Like I said, I can't put it all in here. I'm just trying to show you a little bit. But then you said, oh, after Michael got burnt, that they fucking brought in a new Michael Jackson, right? So now look at, Michael Jackson's fully clothed here, right? But you know in his hair, he's got like that relaxer shit to make that Jerry curl, which is extremely flammable, right? So of course, his hair, that's how his hair caught on fire, right? But his clothes, he's got all clothes, none of his clothes are on fire, and it doesn't even touch his shit. So now let's even count how long he's actually on fire for, because it's not a long time. Okay, so right here, okay, he's on fire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. About 7 seconds. 7 seconds. You're saying that him being burnt for 7 seconds killed him? And it's his hair that's on fire. He's barely burnt at all. It burnt the hair off. Yeah, his hair right there. You can see he's got a bald part on his head. But he's not hurting. You look at his face here. He's not all burnt up. He feels his head. That was what was damaged, was the top of his head. But now, if you clone people and did things, if you think that's not Michael Jackson, the thing is, you can't just create a songwriter Okay, the people don't know the story about Michael Jackson being the son of Diana Ross. That's all covered up. Only a few people fucking know that. And when you look at Michael Jackson's body right here, you can see that that's Diana Ross's really rail thin body. That's where he gets that body form. Okay, so this is the song Dirty Diana. So people know it's about Diana Ross, but they don't actually understand what the song's actually about. The song being Dirty Diana is actually about Michael Jackson's parents. So right here when he's first talking about, you'll never make me stay, so take your weight off of me. He's talking from the from Smokey Robinson. It's about Smokey Robinson talking to Diana Ross. This song is about Michael Jackson's parents, and that's what I'm saying is that Michael Jackson, this is after he got burnt, but what you're finding out is that the songs that he's writing are still related to the experience of him being the child of Smokey Robinson and Diana Ross. Okay, so there's no clone or anybody that could have done that. Only the real Michael Jackson could have wrote this Dirty Diana song. Only he could have done it, because it's actually about the same fucking story. Nobody else would have been able to do that. So this can't be a clone, and it can't be that Michael got burnt up in the fire, and he was not all burnt up. He only on fire for 7 seconds. That was his hair that was on fire. His whole body wasn't on fire. He didn't die. He was only on fire. His hair was on fire for 7 fucking seconds. It's not that big of a deal. But now listen to this song, and I'm just going to play the beginning. But what he's talking about is this is Smokey Robinson. It's Smokey Robinson talking to Diana Ross. That's what's actually going. The words here, that's what they mean.
You never make mistakes, so take your weight off of me. I know your every move, so won't you just let me be? I've been here times before, but I was too blind to see that you seduce every man, this time you won't seduce me.
See, so when they're talking about that you seduce every man, this time you won't seduce me. It's about, because Diana Ross seduced Smokey Robinson, and she got pregnant. And that's why he says, we've been here times before, so take your weight off of me, because she's got the weight that she's the mother of Smokey Robinson's first kid. And because of the situation of it occurring at the time that they were trying to develop Motown, Diana Ross was coerced into giving away her child, okay? That's why she's got weight over him. That's the words of the song. I actually explain the songs because my story's true, and now because my story's true, I can actually explain to you what's actually going on. So the Dirty Diana relationship of what's going on in the song that people thought it was about Michael and Diana, it's not about Michael and Diana, it's about Smokey and Diana. It's about Michael Jackson's parents, and that's why she's Dirty Diana. And you got to think about the reality that Michael Jackson wrote a song called Dirty Diana about Diana Ross, a big fucking star. Would he really call her dirty? And then after he calls her dirty, she still ends up in Michael Jackson's will as a guardian over his children. So if she had ever done something that was so dirty to Michael, how does she then end up in his will over a guardian to his children? That doesn't make sense. And that's what I'm saying. The song's not about Michael and Diana, it's about Smokey and Diana. And when you actually listen to the words, you'll see that she's got weight over him, and you seduce every man, this time you won't seduce me, because she's already seduced him before. And now he's like, you're not going to seduce me, because he's in a marriage with Claudette. That's what happened with all this stuff, is that Smokey had a girlfriend named Claudette. And Claudette wasn't only his girlfriend, she was in his band. She's in the Miracles. So Diana Ross couldn't be Smokey Robinson's girlfriend. All she could do is seduce him with sex. That's what this is actually talking about. Like I said, I actually explain this shit. I've got the facts to back it up, and I've got way more. If you fucking have any more fucking things to say, I will fucking come back and explain it all to you. I do this over and over, but I can't get the fans to fucking deal with it because they're low level and they are not high level intellectuals, and they actually can't deal with what I'm fucking showing them. They can't deal with it, and they don't care. This is the whole thing about what I say about the fans and why I yell so much. They don't care about Michael Jackson, because if they cared about Michael Jackson, they would see that this is the thing that actually caused Michael to turn into the drug addict that he was, which led to his death. It kept him living in secrets and kept him in fucking isolation. This is what caused all Michael Jackson's pain. So in order to free Michael Jackson of that pain, like they always tell me, let him rest in peace. And it's like, he will never rest in peace unless the truth is known. And the only way the truth can really, really be known is the story needs to come out, and we need to hear Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson fucking confirming this and explaining the whole thing. That's how Michael Jackson will fucking rest in peace. That's why I'm so fucking mad, because Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson, they could die. And these fuckers won't help me. And it's like, just help me. This shit will break within a week. this story would fucking break if I just got the people fucking saying, hey, this needs to be dealt with. This dude's fucking ripping this story apart and he's hitting it with fucking hard evidence. But they don't. They all ignore me. They all block me. They refuse to talk to me. And it's like, God damn, how could you possibly consider yourself to be a Michael Jackson fan and you won't deal with the fucking story of what I'm fucking showing you? Nobody's doing this story. I'm clearly not fucking creating some kind of fucking conspiracy with bogus little pieces of evidence and then saying, oh, well, that must mean this. And no, I have real fucking evidence that fucking goes from the very beginning to the very end. And it's evidence that nobody has even fucking dealt with before. I have done a real investigation. I'm clearly not just here trying to be a fucking YouTuber making up some fake story. That's clearly not what I'm fucking doing. But for some reason, I can't get anybody to fucking understand how important this fucking story is. This is fucking important because, like I said, the guy here, the Savage Red Recovery, he's not a Michael Jackson fan, but look at the fucking ideas that have formed in his head. This story is big. It affects everybody because everybody already thinks they know who Michael Jackson is. When they understand that they were all completely fucking wrong, that's a thing that can actually heal the fucking nation and get people to stop thinking you know what the fuck is going on and get people to start fucking demanding proof and real evidence for things.